All right, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Ben, and I am on the Blueprint Solutions training and support team here. And today we're going to be covering our webinar on the setup menu. The setup menu allows you to maintain preferences in your database. To access the setup menu, we're going to navigate down to the lower left-hand side of your screen and click on the wrench. And then we'll go ahead and start right up at the top with pricing and insurer coverage. You can expand this menu with the widget on the left-hand side, and that goes for any of these here where you see that little icon. In the pricing and insurer coverage setup menu, you'll be able to maintain the catalogs for batteries, accessories, services, and orderable items, which are those serialized items. While maintaining these catalog items, you'll be able to set the default location and insurance-specific pricing. The list of hearing aids and hearing aid options, along with the insurance benefit codes and pricing in Canadian systems, is maintained by Blueprint. Private pay pricing for these items can be adjusted as necessary. For our clinics outside of Canada, an authorized user may add hearing aids to the catalog in the event of a rush order in which the aid is not yet available in the catalog, or in the event that the aid is being ordered from a specialty vendor. Let's take a look in batteries here at creating a new item in one of these catalogs. You would hit the Create New button at the bottom of the screen. You would then enter the required fields in the menu here, name, and any of the other options with that asterisk or star next to it are required. Use the Track Inventory option, or the checkbox up here in the right, to track an item in your inventory if you integrated with QuickBooks, and you may enter the CPT code to display on the invoices as well. All right. And then when an item does exist in your catalog and insurers offer specialty pricing for that item, you may add that coverage down below. When the item is highlighted, you'll see insurer coverage, and you can click into this cell here to add the insurer, benefit code, and specialty selling price. Location-specific pricing is also available. We'll click on the location-specific pricing, and similar to the insurance coverage, we can click into the cell, choose our location, the tax on the item, and the selling price. All right, moving on here. Let's head down to the repair types. This allows you to create and maintain different types of repairs that are offered by your manufacturers. To add a new repair type, go ahead and click Create New at the bottom of the screen and name that repair type. To add existing types, simply, just click that Create New, as I just mentioned, and then adding these repair types here will link that repair type to each of the manufacturers so that you may set that on your pricing, as we just saw under repairs as one of our catalogs, and select this option as a repair going forward on any of your aids. Okay, next, service plans. This service plan catalog allows you to track available service plans and their default length right on the patient aids on their file. You can catalog and maintain a list of these different plans here in your setup menu. Again, to create new, there is an option down at the bottom of the screen where we'll name the plan and the plan length in months. On a patient's file, we'll take a look at that plan, service plan, by right-clicking on an aid, going into our details, and here we can select a service plan from that catalog that we have in our setup menu. This is useful if you're offering any in-house service plans or working with managed care programs as well. You can also use the marketing module to find a list of patients with expiring service plans after they've been added to their file. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the refer types in your setup menu. This allows clinics to categorize all your referral sources as well as referring physicians. It also gives you the ability to calculate your return on investment for each one of these sources. We can expand that menu. We'll see a list of all of our different refer types. These are your main type categories. Within each one of these categories, like advertising, we'll have an individual source. And with these sources, you're able to indicate whether or not they're going to be able to be visible for patients booking online with the checkbox here. And you'll also be able to enter in the cost of that advertising in this case, or just your referral source. There are referral source reports, such as the new patient appointment and sale referral source reports located in that reports feature in Blueprint, where you can get helpful information on all of these referral sources. You'll see how many new appointments or how many appointments were booked with this source, how many new patients were created, and the revenue generated from these sources. Healthcare providers are also categorized as a type in refer types here. You'll see they have their own subtypes that you can add. In this case, we have examples of ENT and general. Within each one of these subtypes, our providers themselves, referring providers, are the sources. You may enter in the contact information, email, phone number, fax number, and their address. When you enter in this information here, make sure you hit all of the required information and then just go ahead and hit create. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the manufacturers. Having the manufacturers in your catalog, in a catalog in your setup menu, allows for access to a clean list of all of the manufacturer information, where you can go in and edit the details of those different manufacturers that you have, such as the email address and fax number. In an upcoming update, you'll actually be able to create your own manufacturers within the setup menu. For the time being, we still suggest that you submit a support ticket to our technical team to create any new manufacturers you want on this list. The information provided by yourself and the details that you are able to change. As we can see here, everything but the name itself. You can use this information in billing, forms, and more. And you can easily email orders to these manufacturers from the patient's file to the manufacturer and their contact information you've provided. We are able to add account numbers for any of your manufacturers. You can see here, we'll highlight the manufacturer. And then below in the account numbers, we have our different locations. And then I can add my ship to and billing to account numbers. For Weatherfield here, let's go ahead and add these different account numbers in. All right, and then we're just going to take a look at a quick example of one of these manufacturer forms. So we'll just generate a form here. And we'll see that the ship to account number is now populating on the screen. Our email and fax options will also now populate with the Oticon option for this particular example, with the manufacturer's contact details that we've provided here. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the insurers. The insurers catalog in the setup menu allows you to categorize or catalog the third-party payers and insurers and all of their information. Again, we'll see telephone number, fax number, and address. To create a new insurer, hit that Create New button down at the bottom of the screen, enter in the name and all of the different contact information. All right, you will select the insurance plan, the payer ID, which you can look up that payer ID, and we do have a information link here as well to look that up. And finally, a revenue group. If you are in the U.S., this information will populate on that HCFA 1500 form when you generate that from the patient's file. And this revenue group report, just keep in mind that this does correspond to that revenue group report in your reports, where you'll see a breakdown, the different buckets of revenue to each one of these groupings, and be able to check in on those different revenues. Okay, next we're going to go down into the miscellaneous emails. This does allow you to catalog different emails that you'd like to save within Blueprint. When emailing, you'll simply select the saved email address instead of entering in that email manually. For example, if there is a physician, if they have their own email address on file, but you typically would correspond with, say, the office manager or administrator, you may enter in this email address. For ease, then when corresponding, you'll have that saved in the miscellaneous emails. You can click Create New at the bottom of the screen, put in a name for the contact and an email address. You can always edit any emails that you have saved in here as well. Okay, next we'll take a look at chat. The chat feature in Blueprint allows users to send direct messages to each other that are signed into the system across all locations. To enable the chat, go ahead and click the Enable button at the top of the screen. New messages appear down in the lower right-hand corner down here in the chat icon. You can start new conversations by clicking the New Conversation button and select who you'd like to communicate with. There are options for the key behaviors as well that you can decide on which you'd like to use. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the CareCredit setup options here. This allows you to enable and manage your integration with the CareCredit portal. This adds kind of to the efficiency when you're entering payments made with CareCredit. As the payments are entered into Blueprint, it'll automatically link to that CareCredit portal. To turn on the integration, go ahead and click Enable CareCredit Integration. That'll be right here at the top. And it'll take you through a short setup. You'll follow the prompts, enter in your merchant number, hit continue. You may also select then the payment method that will prompt the CareCredit portal to open. Many clinics using this integration will create a payment method called CareCredit for the instances in which we'll kind of go over here in just a second, but you can see here that we have a payment method labeled CareCredit as our option to prompt this. And once enabled, you can launch that CareCredit integration from the patient dropdown. And your CareCredit portal will launch automatically after saving a payment with that selected payment method as well. Okay, let's move on here to the revenue groups. Just a reminder, we were just talking about this a moment ago under our Insurers as an option in our Insurers catalog. The revenue groups allow you to create various groups to assist with separating and calculating revenue streams for your reporting. Just a reminder, where we saw this was in the options or details of an individual insurer, where we can select a revenue group in this drop-down menu. The default option, in this case, what we have selected here, private insurer, is an option you can choose to assign to any one of your revenue groups. This will be the first option that shows up when selecting a revenue group within that insurer option or in the details of the insurer itself. These options will be the ones that show up then on your revenue group report. Okay, next in our setup menu is the discount reasons. This is a customizable list of different discounts that you would offer, and that can be added to an invoice. We'll just show you a quick example here from a patient file. If I were to create a sale and move on to the cost allocation screen, we can see our line item for this sale, and then I can click into that discount cell, select a reason, and here we'll see that list of different cataloged reasons that I've added. You'd then just add your discount amount and update it, and that will take it off of the sale. Okay, let's move along to our payment methods here in the setup menu. This allows you to have your own methods in which payments can be received at your clinic. You can add these new at the bottom of the screen by clicking Create New. All right, so we'll give this a name. We'll select the deposit account and refund account. You're also able to edit the details by right-clicking and hitting Edit Details on any one of these payment methods. The undeposited funds will show up in your Enter Deposit screen under the Accounting drop-down menu. If you select an account, these accounts will automatically be deposited in your accounting software in QuickBooks if we have an account selected here in Deposit and Refund. Okay, if we expand this payment methods tree here in the setup menu, we'll see the options for integrated payments and online payments. This allows your clinic to integrate with the payment processing system. There are partners, which you'll see here, listed here. And this just, again, adds to the efficiency when entering and processing card payments with Blueprint. This is only available for U.S. customers. If integrated with the payment processing, you will also have then access to the online payments. You'll be able to enable the integrated payments yourself here through a short setup wizard once you have started with our partners. You'll select which payment methods should be available to prompt the integration with a card swipe. In this case, you can see I chose my credit card providers that I have in here as payment methods. So American Express, MasterCard, and Visa, as well as other online payments that may be needed. And then right below integrated payments, again, we have the online payment option that's available once you're integrated. This allows you to then send those different invoices to your patients to submit their own payments from the email or text message. And you can edit those settings here in different options, like your sending email address. The Enable button will be right up at the top. Go ahead and click that when you want to get started. If you'd like any more information on the online payments and integrated payments, just please feel free to reach out to our support team. Okay, and we'll take a look at recalls. All right, recalls in our setup menu allows you to customize a list of recall types and statuses. This allows you to ensure the most efficient follow-up with your patients, as well as offering your own customized list of these different options. So we have different types that you can create new here, set as a default, and also have as required by default as well. The list of statuses is similar here. We can hit Create New at the bottom and add the status name. We'll take a look at an example of these here. So we'll go to the Patient's Marketing tab and hit Add Recall. From here, we can see the different list of all those different follow-ups, or I'm sorry, types, recall types. And based on the type itself, we may have the required. This is that required checkbox, whether or not that's going to be checked off by default. We also have our list of statuses that, again, we're able to control in our setup menu. Okay, moving on to journal entry types in our setup menu. This allows you to create a customized list of different types of journal entries that a user could input into the system, as well as you will be able to maintain which of these types can be linked to events on the schedule, as you can see the tag here for link to an event. We also have the option to have these display in the audiology tab of a patient by default. When we right-click, we have the option to edit details. You'll see naming that journal entry type. We can set one as default. That would be the first journal entry type when you go to create a journal entry. It'll be the first option available. We have the can link to event checkbox and the display in audiology by default checkbox as well. Of course, creating a new one is right down at the bottom of the screen. Okay, patient types. Creating a different patient types in your setup menu allows you to differentiate your patients based on their hearing healthcare needs. From a patient's audiology tab, you'll have the option in the lower left corner to add different patient types here. That'll update their profile. When creating a new patient type, we'll just need to name that type. Okay, moving on to locations. Location-specific information, such as address and contact information, may be edited and kept up to date under this Locations tab in your Setup menu. To create new or additional locations in your system, please just submit a support ticket to our technical team so that we can get that updated. You can right-click on any of the existing locations listed here to edit the details. All right. Just make sure that if you do have multiple locations, that the information that we see here is specific to that particular name of that location. All right. You'll also see here the options for whether or not a certain location is taking online booking, or have the availability function turned on for that location on your schedule. Okay, moving on to the marketing automation setup. Blueprint offers a variety of different marketing material that you can customize and set up to be sent out on an automated basis. This is free of charge with your subscription, free to use. This feature will help you save time and also drive revenue by sending the right message to your patients at the right time automatically every day. Once activated, the emails will be sent out automatically every morning based on where the patient is in their hearing journey. The emails will use the Blueprint standard OMS message that we've customized and created to work in your system. It can be customized further by yourself, and we can right-click to edit the details and further customize that email. Patients without an email address will meet the criteria for a certain marketing campaign will then be put into the print group. The print campaigns, you'll have the option to print those out daily, just like the emails, and get those into the mail. The print campaigns are created on a Word document, so if you'd like to further customize those templates, you'll be able to find them in the templates, which we'll get to in just a moment. You can download those, edit them to further customize, and then use them in your marketing automation campaigns. To enable, you'll see an enable button at the top of your screen, and it'll take you through a short setup wizard, which you can always go back through with the edit settings button and update any of those options. All right, we do have the option to have the email send automatically or add a manual option for a time at which you'd like to have those emails sent out. If you do have any questions as far as turning on or utilizing this feature, again, please feel free to contact our support team, and we can help you with that. All right, let's take a look at the QuickBooks synchronization options. If you are synchronized with QuickBooks, those patients will synchronize when they have a transaction on their file. We do have an option in your setup menu here to synchronize all patients. That is just a checkbox that you will choose if it's something you want to, if that is an option you'd like to continue with. This is free of charge to be synced with your QuickBooks company file. It typically takes our technician teams about 45 minutes to enable. Please just feel free to send in a support ticket to schedule a time to have this done, and we'll be happy to help you out with that. Okay, next in our setup menu here is the Audiometers. Again, we have a widget here on the corner to expand that menu to see your different locations in which we can add our audiometers, the last calibration date, and what would be default when creating a new test result in the patient's audiology tab. Those audiograms that transfer over from NOAA will use that default option. You are able to hit Create New at the bottom of the screen, name the device, set the calibration date, and say whether or not it is active, or I'm sorry, whether or not it is default. And to edit, again, we'll just highlight, right-click, and hit Edit Details. Awesome, moving on to Documents. In Documents, we have two different options for categories and statuses. This is referring to that documents that are on the patient's file, in which we can organize the different documents that we've added and archived to the patient's file with a status and category. Let's go ahead and just take a look at a patient's file under Documents, in which we can see the different categories that we can assign to to one of these documents that we have archived. The status will also be tagged here right on this main page that we can see. In this case, it says faxed. You can actually search for these documents under the Tools and Search Documents option, in which we can find different forms that we have archived based on the status itself. If we have different forms that need to be faxed or approved, we can easily pull up a list of any of those documents that were saved with that status and then go through them here instead of going back and trying to find each patient file under the documents and searching that way. Here's our list of statuses. You can create new here as well as edit the details for any existing ones and choose the color that you'd like. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the templates. Blueprint does provide a library of templates for all users to use free of charge. We also offer the option to use your own templates in forms, correspondence, and invoices. In addition to storing the templates and producing them in different instances within Blueprint, we will also have the option to support checkboxes in your custom forms, as well as radio buttons, drop-down menus, merge fields that pull information from the patient's file into the form, editable text fields that you can edit right on screen, default user signatures, and electronic signature fields as well. You'll be able to fill out all that information right on your screen without ever having to actually leave the Blueprint application. To add a new template, we can go down to the bottom of the screen and hit Upload, and then choose a file from your computer. All right, so we would select a form and then hit Open. We also have the option to view any of these letters or different forms right from here as well, so we can take a look at that template. You can right-click and download a Blueprint copy, and you can further customize these forms. You can then re-upload your own version into Blueprint and use that one as well. Under correspondence, we have more marketing-specific letters. And in marketing, we'll notice here too that we have the print campaigns, which are going to be similar to those in correspondence, as well as email campaigns that you can design right here in Blueprint by creating new at the bottom of the screen and designing your own email, which you can preview as well as use those merge fields here in the email as well. Again, those just pull that patient information or clinic information into the template itself. The accounting templates include invoices, quotes, and estimates. As I mentioned, we provide this library of templates free of charge. However, if you would like a custom form to be edited and enabled for editing within Blueprint and added by our team. There is a custom form charge of $40 per form. To create your own templates, we do offer free training. So if you'd like to do this yourself and edit and create your own forms, we do have a template tool on our website, as well as different user guide options that you can follow along with. Here is our website, and you will be able to see at the bottom of our screen, under resources, we have that template tool. So you can follow this step-by-step guide when creating your own form. If you do need training on creating your own forms, please feel free to reach out and schedule a time with our support team. Okay, next we'll take a look at the online form settings. The online forms allow clinics to securely collect information from new or existing patients, and that would be paperlessly online. These forms can be sent via email to the patients. The info that a new or existing patient provides on these forms then can be reflected automatically within the patient file. Once they are completed and sent back to the clinic, you'll have the option to review and process and archive those forms. Online form requests can be sent to email addresses of prospects, patients, and patients' alternate contacts. They can also be configurable and configured to clinic tablets or laptops or desktop computers that are right in your office. So if a patient does not have an email address available or is unable to fill it out on their own, they will have the option to then fill it out right within your office. All right, to adjust or enable the online forms, click the Enable Online Forms option at the top. You'll add your sending email address, default expiration, and the Convert Quick Add to patient behavior. The templates are also able to be, the email template itself is able to be edited here in the Setup menu as well. Right. Under this online forms tree in the setup menu, you'll also see the different options for the IDA Institute tools, different forms that we have available from the IDA Institute that you'll have an option to send to your patient, as well as the setup for those online form tablets in which the patients can fill out the forms right in your office. From the location, you'll be able to select Create New and name your tablet. This then creates a custom URL for that tablet that you will add as a default or bookmarked web browser page on that device. Okay, let's go on here to the text snippet categories and expand this menu to see all of our categories here on the left-hand side of the screen. Under each category, you will see the individual text snippet string. This allows you to have preset text options that you can copy and paste, saving you time when filling out notes or reporting in Blueprint. Blueprint does provide a library of pre-approved text snippet options that you can have turned on. As a user, you can also create your own. You can make them personal or also viewable for multiple users. You can see the create new option, the text string that you would have written out here, auto text if you prefer to put in a shorthand text to have the text string auto-populate into wherever you're writing, and the ability to lock it or make personal for yourself. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the scheduling here in the setup menu. We'll expand this menu. This allows you to create new event types, add resources, adjust online booking and telehealth settings, all from your setup menu here. So let's go to event types. Here you'll see that you have the option to create new at the bottom of the screen. You'll name the event type. You can set this event type as default, which would be the first option when creating a new event on your schedule. And you'll also see the options for that particular event type. We have different checkboxes like default mark busy. This will have the mark busy checked off by default when creating an appointment to show that the provider will not be available. We have the default sales opportunity, the journal entry type or journal entry required, and a telehealth option that you can have checked off as well. At the bottom, you'll see options or checkboxes for online booking if it's enabled for a particular event. If you are enabled with online reviews, we have a checkbox for the event type here as well, and as well as reminders, those reminders that can be sent out for appointments. We can have a checkbox stating whether or not this particular event type should have reminders enabled. Okay. Let's go to resource types here. There's a limited number of resources, such as sound booths at a clinic. These can be indicated under resources to avoid double booking. We have our catalog of resources themselves. In this case, you can see our option like sound booth. We can create new resource types here with a name and then hitting create. We can expand the resource menu right below the types here and look at our individual locations. All right, so here we can see that we may have multiple sound booth, the type sound booth as a resource, we may have multiple rooms available or booths available so that we can select one for our first available appointment, and then while that is in use, we have the option to select our additional sound booth option. You can create new at the bottom of the screen or edit details. In the details for the source resource itself, we'll have a name, the type, location, and if double booking is allowed. Below resources here in scheduling, we'll see online booking. Online booking is free of charge and allows you to integrate your website and the Blueprint OMS schedule. This enables new or existing patients to book appointments directly from your website. You are able to control the appointment type, provider, location, directly in Blueprint here in your settings of what can be available. Patients will only see available openings that you've created. The appointment will then automatically populate on your schedule. It can also be synced to your mobile device so that you're able to see your schedule itself. If you're interested in enabling this, there are a few settings where you can adjust the time slot interval, scheduling options, branding, and optional contact fields, as you can see here. There is a enable checkbox at the top that you would select when getting started, and you can also run through that configuration wizard again at any point in time. We give you the options right here in your setup menu to copy the URL for your portal, your online booking portal, as well as the iframe HTML code needed to embed that right into your website. Right next, right below the online booking is the telehealth options in your Blueprint setup menu. Okay, so this does allow you to run virtual appointments that include customized instructions in your invitation for a variety of different platforms that we have available here, each with their own custom instructions that can be sent via email or by text. If a platform that you use is not available in this setup menu here, you can create your own or edit the what is available to you with the edit platform option here. All right. Moving on to our sort of our last option here in your setup menu. This is the user administration. This section allows a clinic to manage the different roles and users, change usernames, passwords, and add providers to your schedule. Here we'll see a list of our roles. You can create new or edit the existing roles that are in here. These roles then are assigned to individual users where they will inherit the role's different privileges and report access. These, of course, can be added individually on an individual user. When we right-click on a user, you can see the edit options. We have details, changing password, privileges and reports, the scheduling locations. We can edit provider tax numbers and license numbers, and finally deactivate those different users. Finally, below that here, we do have the security options accessible to the owner of the system. All right, so you can take a look at the different options for security that you would have access to. All right, and finally, just a reminder, if you don't see any of these options in your setup menu, it could just be the privileges of what you have access to maintain in your setup menu with your user. Okay, let's go ahead and kind of open it up for different questions that you may have. Please feel free to put them in the chat if you'd like. If you don't have any questions at this time, you may also submit a support ticket later on if you do need help with any particular section, enabling, or would like to learn more. Just a reminder, we also have great videos and previous webinars as well under our tutorials on our website. There is a shortcut under the Help drop-down menu here to our user guide and the video tutorials. These can be a helpful reminder, and you can also kind of direct colleagues that may want to review information as well to these options. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have one message here. Let's see. About the chat feature. You do get a notification when you have a chat. Okay, so there's a color change down there. That is kind of built in, like how that is set up. So we can't really change how that notification happens, but you will be notified if you have a message in that lower right-hand corner of the screen. Yeah, so just kind of a question on a little bit more detail on the online scheduling and how that works. The setup menu for the online scheduling are the different settings for the kind of the booking portal itself. That portal that's available to your patients that can then be either accessed via URL, so a link, or directly from your website if you embed that portal right into your website itself. The patients, what they're going to see is what you've defined as available for online booking. So the appointment type, the provider and location, as well as when those appointments are available. If you're using availability booking and you already have scheduled events on your schedule where there is no more open time, the patient will not see a time available on the portal until further out in your schedule when you become available again, when you no longer have appointments covering any of those available times. So when they are looking to create an event for themselves, create an appointment, they will only be able to do so in time slots that is available on your schedule. They would select which appointment type they are looking to create for themselves, and then the times that are available. Okay, when the question here, when a manufacturer releases new platform or product, when can we expect that to be available in the hearing aid setup menu? So we are typically informed of that update from the manufacturer. It may take a few days once we're notified just to get it added. If it's not yet added or you seem to be missing a newer product, you can always send us an email to see, just to verify that we have that information or adding that information of that new product, and then we'll make sure to get that we'll get that updated. Okay, and then kind of just a follow-up question here on that availability booking with the online booking. I am going to click back into scheduling and to online booking. The URL for your portal, your patients, is available here. You can hit copy and paste this. This can be added to marketing automation emails, your email, your office email, Facebook posts, any social media posts that can be available for your patients to click on. The iframe HTML, you would provide this to your website designer. This is what would be needed to embed that feature right into your website. So that portal is created with the settings that you choose when running the configuration wizard here. So it's all designed and created by Blueprint and available for you to use with your subscription. All right. Any last questions here? Oh, and sorry, it looks like we did have one more here. Will the chat messages stay until it is read? Yes. The answer is yes. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you everyone for participating in today's setup menu webinar. There will be a recording once we are done with this week's webinars, a recording that is published to our website so that you can review this information. Feel free to check there again for any previous webinars or other tutorial videos. Again, there's a shortcut right under your help drop-down menu to video tutorials where you'll see this webinar posted eventually, as well as, like I said, those prior ones as well. But again, thank you everyone and have a great rest of your day.